everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of the Insiders on Real Estate and Marketing. I'm Sandy Hibbard, and this is my co-host, Troy Olson. How in the world are you doing?
I'm good. Good to be back in the studio.
I mean, we've made it through another month.
We have.
It's the craziest summer. I'm calling it the summer of COVID, is what my playlist is called for this summer. Craziness.
Yes, a lot of stuff going on right now, including a hurricane. So
I know, and well wishes to all the people down in South Texas. I did not sleep well last night.
East Texas, Louisiana. I've got lots of clients that are from there, lots of friends. Saints, LSU fans. Prayers with you and your family.
Wow. Even in the midst of this craziness, we've got the craziness of election. We've got COVID still happening, and we're still worried about that. We're still staying home, wearing masks when we go out. The hurricane. People still have to do business.
Yeah.
And the number one thing that when we talked, and I asked you, what's on your agents' minds, number one, and you said lead gen.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to talk about today, is lead generation. It is the lifeblood of the real estate industry, if not any business. And those of you getting into the business need to really sit down, get a pencil and paper, and take notes today. Those of you who are struggling and have been in the business for a while and your production's lacking, then this might be a good shot in the arm for you. Don't you think so, Troy?
I agree. I mean, I've got an agent that, she committed to joining my team. She's going to be done with school classes in a couple weeks. And, when you're a new agent, it's how do I get going?
Oh, my God, yeah.
And we sat down, last week and talked about that. But, I mean, like you said, in sales, it's all about lead generation. Mm-hmm. A lot of us, get caught in the fire drills of transactional real estate. And then we hurry up and, close one deal. And then we realize that we don't have the next deal. And we start scrambling again. You've heard about the hamster wheel. So there are certainly things that agents can do that don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to be visible. You need to be vocal. Mm-hmm. Being on social media, and I know we're going to talk about your book here a little bit. But there are things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're worried about. There's a lot of new shiny objects that are going to be thrown your way as soon as you get your license. They sell your information to everybody. It wasn't quite as bad 15 years ago when I got my license, but now there's so many shiny objects and technology and tools, and you just don't know, which one to pick.
Right.
You don't need to pick all of them. Just pick one, and again, start it with your database.
Yeah, and we're going to touch on those things today. Troy's going to give us his recommendations. I'm going to give you some of my recommendations, so you don't have to be hunting through the haystack looking for the one thing. We're going to help you by giving you some solutions that have worked for us. I've played in lead gen for a lot of years, kind of in and out of it through my career. In my corporate days, I actually ran a huge lead program for United American Insurance Company, and I was responsible and part of the team of mailing out millions of mailers every week to get those leads coming in for their agent force. Then, when I was working in real estate with Century 21, we had an amazing lead program. So the thing I've learned in a nutshell about leads is it can't be loosey-goosey. You've got to commit to a lead program or something that you call a lead program that is going to generate you being able to get in front of people, don't you think?
Yeah, and like you said, you can't just try it one time.
No.
Even if you pick 2 or 3 strategies and you are consistent with it, when I say consistent, I don't mean 2 months in a row. Run this for 6 to 9 months. Just know that the fruits of your labor, will come around. Whether it's geofarming, in your immediate area. A lot of people, open houses is a hot button right now. Do we want to do them? Do we not want to do them? There's a great hungry agent in my office. She reached out to me yesterday and said, "Hey, I'm willing to do open houses this weekend. That's my thing," was her exact words.
Now, is she doing them for you or for another agent, or are they her listings?
They're my listings. She's not even on my team. But
so how does that work?
Yeah, so she's with the same brokerage firm. So I'm putting it in the MLS under open house. 11 to 1 on Saturday. It's public, 11 to 1 on Sunday. So she's doing one in Frisco on Saturday, and she's doing one in Rowlett on Sunday. So there's an example where it's not really costing her a lot of money. I mean,
Right.
she's got to drive there, but I mean, she's already got a car and a phone and a computer, and there's already, property flyers there. So
So I guess how that works is if she's doing that for you, you let her take those leads home.
absolutely, I'm not
If
going to
you sell your house,
yeah, no,
that's
like
the
I
happy
said,
thing for
it's
you.
not going to cost her any money to go. I don't want to just downplay and say sit there, but I mean, again, she's
But
got
she gets those leads.
absolutely, as she should. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I said, she's the one doing the work. I'm providing the listing, and she's doing the work. But again, if somebody comes in and wants to buy the house, hey, I'm happy. My seller's, certainly happy. I mean, I have buyers both days this weekend. Otherwise I would be doing, one or the other. But she's going to do one each day. So there's an example of marketing. Get your name out there. That doesn't
And it's
cost
not
you any
costing
money.
her money.
Nope.
Now you could do that for your team as well.
Yeah.
If you had a vibrant team and you've got 4 or 5 or 6 listings
Mm-hmm.
like you do, then every weekend you could have your team members go out.
Rotate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I
and
said,
they're
they're-
getting leads and they're getting their
And-
kind of
and
their teeth cut on the business doing that.
They're in different cities, so again, we're a little bit spread out right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So, but that's good. And then another thing is if you have been an agent, we always forget to ask for the business, ask for the close.
Referrals.
Yeah. So ask right when you get them under contract. Ask when you're walking out of the title company. That's the last thing that they've got to go through
How do you
before
do
they get
that?
their money.
I
You
mean-
just say, hey guys, I mean, I've got a 4 o'clock closing in Denton today.
Yeah.
It's for an investor on a duplex, and I've got a gift card and a thank you
Right.
note, and just say, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity to work with you. Please keep me in mind.
Mm-hmm.
On your next purchase. If you've got other, friends, family, coworker, people you go to church with, people that your kids play sports with, just please, think of me. And again, there's a stack of business cards in that thank you note.
Remember 5 equals 1?
Absolutely, absolutely. So things like that we got to slow down and not forget to do.
Yeah, that's a
So-
very key point. Slow down and take advantage of each moment and each opportunity that's in front of you. And then the reviews. What about reviews? Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. That's a
So,
free.
yeah, so that's one thing, again, where it doesn't cost a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
or any money. It's time to send an email, leave me a review,
Follow
and,
up.
and remind them, hey, you're going to, on the way up here, I know it's a 30-day anniversary for one of my clients closing on a house in Frisco. And I just called them. Voicemail was, hey, Nick, how are you and Catherine and the kids? How do you like the new house? Give me a call when you get a minute. I want to touch base with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that 30-day follow-up just so they know that, we didn't forget about them just because it was, a month ago.
Right, which is what we're talking about when we talk about past clients. So there's all kinds of ways to reach out and stay in touch with past clients to develop leads. So the birthdays, anniversaries, those life events that they have, just the Popeyes
Yeah.
for your past clients. I mean, I think past clients is a huge
It's certainly
thing
my
that's being forgotten sometimes.
it's certainly my biggest source, and that's why it's a 7-day, 30-day, and yes, we'll remind them on January 1st
Yeah.
during bowl season. I don't think we're gonna have bowl games this year, unfortunately. File your homestead, that's a touch. We talked a little bit about that, on the last episode, but there's a strategic plan as to how, when, and where we are touching a past client.
Yeah, true. Another thing we're going to talk about later, but that's also in that free category, is community activity. So the more active that you are in the community, the more opportunities you're going to have to meet people, snag their name and their information, ask them if you can put them on your database list to receive emails from you periodically, and now you're growing your list and you've got a possible lead happening there.
And unfortunately, I think too many of us pull in our driveway and we close the garage door. I mean, I've lived in my community for 6.5 years, and I've sold a few homes in there. I have a listing in there now. But we have to do a better job right in our backyard.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, if somebody else farms that community, that's fine, but you live in there, so
Yeah.
you should have a voice, in your own community.
Oh, absolutely.
Another thing, not a lot of listings are expiring. There are people, because the market is so hot, that they just want to do this themselves for sale by owner. And those agents that have been around for a long time, the statistics. We can help a for sale by owner sell their home for more money faster than they can, without the commission. It's more about just again approaching them
Right.
the right way. So actually, I have an ISA, inside sales associate, a dialer, if you want to call it that, starting September 8th. So something
What do they
that we
do?
can talk.
They call the
Yeah.
for sale by owners?
Yeah, whether it's for sale by owners, obviously scrub against the do not call list. Expireds, make sure you're scrubbing against the do not call list. Circle prospecting. So those are some of the things that there's certainly going to be.
Well, those things are going to cost money.
Those things are going to
Yeah.
cost money, but again, when you're on a dialer burning 100 dials an hour, it's not like you're dialing 5 people an hour. It's we're in the volume business when you bring in a dialer and an ISA.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say on these things, and let's review them again. These are the things that you can do with no upfront cost. We've got reviews, open houses, community activities, referrals, past clients, and FSBOs. And I think it's really important to note that one-offs on these are not going to work. So if you wake up and you come out of your meeting at Keller Williams and you're a newbie and you're trying to get leads and you think, oh, I think I'm going to call a FSBO, or, oh, I think I'll go do a community activity. Things like that, and that kind of attitude does not work in this business. But when you can formulate a strategy that says, these are the things I'm going to do that have no upfront costs, and I'm going to add them into my strategic plan. So now you're doing FSBOs on a weekly or daily basis. Now you're doing a monthly event in the community or going to the chamber weekly. Now you're asking for reviews after every lead. Now you're going to, so you get the idea. It's about putting these things in your strategy and becoming consistent with doing them. That is what will bring the leads, not one-offs.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Troy, moving on. I want to talk about lead gen companies, because I know that, when I worked for the Fortune 500 company, we did our leads.
Absolutely.
We had an art department, we had a mail department, so we created the art, we created the list, we chose a zip code, we did all of that, and we had a huge team and millions of dollars to be able to do that. When I was with a large broker here in Dallas, we also did all the leads in-house. But if you're a solopreneur, if you're a new agent building your business, you don't have that. So this is where the lead companies can be very helpful, where your broker's lead campaign can be very helpful. Let's talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah, so a couple of them that have been great for me. One is called Homelight. Homelight, and it's where people will inquire about buying a home or selling their home, and it will be texted out into several agents in the area that are signed up for that city or that zip code, and it's speed to lead. I mean, whoever accepts that first gets that. And you don't just get their information. You get their first name and whether they're a buyer or a seller, and then it's a 415 phone number with an extension that you hit, and then it connects me to you. I either leave a voicemail, but if it's a live connection, then I go into my sales pitch, and then the goal, of course, is to set an appointment or find out what they're looking for. But when we hang up, then I get an email with first name, last name, email address, phone number, specific stuff, so I can either build them a portal or I can, go to schedule, the listing appointment. So Homelight, I pay a referral fee for that, full disclosure.
But you're doing the work.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And again, I mean, if it's a $400,000 house and it's a 3% commission, yeah, you're paying a referral fee, but hey, that's more than you had before you took that phone call.
Right.
I don't pay them a monthly subscription.
Okay.
I only pay a referral fee if and when I close the deal. I had a closing July 7th.
So they're providing you the list of names to call and the phone numbers to call.
Well, the people who inquire, and then it gets sent out to a bunch of
Gotcha.
agents.
And then, but you have to be responsible.
Absolutely. Like I said, there could be one going off right now. Obviously, I can't grab it here. But again, I mean, I get, one or two a week. And like anything else, it's some of them work out and some of them don't. So I have 3 or 4 that I'm actively working with, either trying to find them a home or they're going to be putting their house on the market as we get closer to the year. So Homelight is one that's been good for us.
Awesome. And aside to that, and I don't have this in our notes, Troy, but it just came to my mind, Realtor.com, Zillow, most agents are on those search engines. And they put their listing and all of that.
Sure.
There are inquiries that come into those places. Do those work?
I have never.
Utilize those?
I did about a 6-month commitment with Zillow several years ago. I think I was paying $875 a month, and again, I probably wasn't staffed accordingly. I mean, again, the leads are only as good as the people that are following up with them, and when you get busy, that's why having a dedicated, ISA, all their job is to do is lead nurture, lead generation, and set appointments for me. So I did that for a very, very short period of time. It didn't produce anything back then, but I mean, that's a lot of money.
But like you were saying, if the agent is steadfast in follow-up in doing the work, and like what we talked about in last month's episode, going to work. If you're working 8 hours a day, and if you don't have listings, you're on that phone, you're prospecting, you're checking with Realtor.com, you're checking with the search engines to find out, has someone inquired about my listing? Am I getting traffic on my listing? Are the pictures showing up? If you're working like that, then I agree with you. I think that the lead can possibly work for you unless it's just junk lead.
I don't know of any realtors working 8 hours a day. If they are, they're not in the volume game. But yeah, we're done by 3 o'clock today.
Whatever.
Let's go hit the links. So something that's actually not on here, but it is paid, is a networking group.
Absolutely.
I'm in a networking group, and we meet right now on Zoom, every Thursday morning at 7:45. Yes, I pay an annual membership, and then I pay monthly dues, which are not being charged right now because we're not eating breakfast at the country club where we go every Thursday morning. But I had a closing yesterday. My roofer and my lender, mother and mother-in-law, we closed on their listing. That was a referral from that. So just this morning in the networking group, my lender got 2 referrals. I referred my property and casualty insurance guy a lead. I referred the promotional advertising guy a lead, and the foundation guy a lead. So right there, in one day, I was responsible for 5 different referrals to 3 different individuals in the group. So networking groups work, and again, they're only as good as the people in the group. You got to get up, you got to show up, and again, in order to stay in the group, you got to refer me business, and I got to refer you business.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they are very much worth it if you utilize and you get a good group.
Yeah.
You can have some bad groups where it's just a cocktail party, but if you get into the good groups that hold you accountable, you can definitely get leads and get business from that.
Shout out to James Sharp, JP and Associates. James has been in the same BNI group, I think 15, 17 years.
Wow.
70% of his business comes from this networking group. He absolutely crushes it. And again, there's no referral fee there like a home light or a corporate relocation. So there's living proof. He's the best real estate networker that I know in DFW.
Wow. And that's in a networking group.
It's in a BNI group.
Yeah.
So
add that to the list. Networking group. Bold Leads. Talk about that.
Yeah. So Bold Leads is a company like HomeLight where you can pay a monthly subscription. And again, I'm a little hesitant when you're paying a big monthly subscription where they say, we're going to guarantee you X leads. What is a lead? A first name, last name, email address, and phone number. That's not necessarily a lead.
Yeah. They could just be somebody that's surfing the net, and they could be 16.
Yeah. I mean, a lead to me is a ready, willing, able, and pre-approved buyer.
Wow. That's a woman.
Yeah. So a lead to me in the seller world is, I am selling my house. Let's schedule your interview. That is a lead. That other stuff those are contacts.
Yeah.
So I would be hesitant to, like I said, spend $800 a month. There's no way they can guarantee X number.
A new agent in this business cannot afford $800 a month on a lead program.
No.
I would just say go to work, like we've been talking. Just go to work.
Again, follow the no soliciting rules, but you can do door hangers, in a community.
Yeah.
You can do, like you said, do the pop buys, farming. There's things that you can do for, go to the dollar store and find something for $1 and put it in a plastic bag and with your business card.
Absolutely.
Again, but those are old school ways, but you got to do whatever you can do to get your name out there to get going.
Yeah.
We all had to get to our first deal at one point.
Oh, yeah. Now tell me about how you're using Facebook.
Yeah, so within the Keller Williams CRM called Command, Gary Keller, we spent lots and lots of money on this CRM. It's a CRM on steroids, and you can actually post Facebook ads within there, whether they are seller leads, buyer leads, price reduction, notifications. Free home evaluations. So obviously social media is huge. And again, I got the book there in the corner of my eye. So that's something that, again, I'm doing at the same time. This ISA comes on in September here.
Sweet.
That is going to be her job, is to follow up on inbound and outbound.
What is ISA?
Inside Sales Associate.
Okay.
So,
Do they have to be licensed?
yep.
They do. Okay.
Well, because quoting price.
Oh, right. Okay.
If somebody calls and says, how much is this house? You're quoting price.
Okay, so
have a
they
license.
have to have a license. Troy, do most brokers provide a lead program these days
I mean,
to agents?
again, there's going to be some guidance and some direction,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some that will claim that they do it. Again, I'm not there. I'm where I'm at for lots of other business opportunity, business opportunities other than just, selling homes. So.
Yeah, interesting. Some of the marketing and strategies that I have for generating leads are, of course, more on the marketing end. And I think that to have a good mix for lead gen, you need to have what we've talked about with the no upfront cost things that we do, like the networking groups and the reviews. You need to do those things. Those are the things that are available to you in your business model. So you need to take advantage of those. And then we have the paid group. So you've got all these bright, shiny objects out there wanting your money. Be careful on those, but still, like Troy has found on Bold Leads, that works for him. His broker's providing a campaign on Facebook through their portal. That's working for him. So do some investigating on how to spend the right money on lead gen. Then we've got social media. And when I was writing the show and Troy and I were discussing things, I came to my old book. This is like 5 years old that I wrote, 52 Killer Marketing Tips. Marketing Demystified in 52 Killer Tips that your competition is probably forgetting. And it made me think, I looked through this and I remembered writing all of these tips thinking if an agent took one of these tips a week, because there's 52 for 52 weeks, if you did one of these things every week, you would blow up. Well, you can't. It's too much. There's too much happening in this and in those things. So I say pick 3 or 4. That's what I've always taught in my classes. If you just pick and hone in on 3 or 4 platforms to blow up on, then you'll be okay. So let's talk about some of those. And the first thing that's on my list, Troy, is SOI, our sphere of influence. We've kind of touched around on that, but I think realtors, you are experts on how to handle your SOI. Let's talk about that for a second.
So it's not just past clients, it's your friends, your family, people you work out with or, ride bikes with, lenders, title partners, home warranty reps, home inspectors, new home sales reps. I mean, again, it's not just, a consumer buyer or seller. It's literally everybody in your phone that you have a relationship with needs to be somebody that you are consistently
absolutely
in front of and reminding and marketing to.
And a tip on that is a client asked me once, I'm building my list and I'm sending out a weekly e-blast. Should I put my family on it? And I'm like, heck yeah, you put your family on it because your family has friends. Your aunt that lives in California probably forgets that you're in the real estate business. So by keeping your sphere of influence close to you through touches, just like you would your past clients, you're keeping in front of them as well. So don't forget, if you're going to build when you build your database list, when you build that SOI section in your list, make sure that the people that you love are in that list because they need to know about what's going on with you too. They can also give referrals.
Be relatable.
Handwritten notes and follow-up, I think, is huge. Something that costs a stamp and some paper and some time, but chime in on that because you were telling us about that last month.
Yeah, so, Cody Gibson challenged us to write 5 handwritten. Cody Gibson is a massive Keller Williams producer, coach, public speaker out of Portland, and he challenged us, write 5 personal handwritten notes a day for 365 days and see what it does.
Oh my God, have you done that?
I haven't been as consistent the past 35 days.
5 a day?
Yeah.
So, okay, so what's the concept behind it?
Yeah, so basically is...
You pull their name out of the hat.
Again, most people have more than 365 people in their phone, right?
Yeah.
So it's just get all the contacts out of your phone into an Excel spreadsheet, and then the first 5, doesn't matter who they are. I don't care if you put them in alphabetical order. And that's the first 5 that are going out, on September 8th. And then September 9th, you got 5 more. And then you start over. But it's like, you'd be amazed. It's, like I said, what I do now is on Friday with my assistant, we time block and say, okay, I need you to draft, put all the stamps on, put the self-addressed, we all have everything in an Avery label system. So
Right.
it's just a matter of, signing the card and putting it in the
Right.
mailbox.
Right.
So again, we have to be better
Yeah.
about that. They are on my desk. Let them pile up. So you have to look at them every day if that's what it's going to take to discipline you to get them out the door.
Absolutely. And in my book, I have one of those that is actually one of the 52 tips is postcards or a handwritten note on a postcard. And this is old school. This is old school.
Yeah.
We were buying postcards to print and mail 10 years ago in the real estate business. What's happened? Everybody has thought, oh, it's social media. We don't have to pay for anything anymore.
Well, and there's a great company out there we use called AM Cards. It's $40 a month, and it's a digital handwritten note.
Yeah.
But they do all the work. You literally log into your account and you address it to who you want,
Yeah.
and then you type what you want it to say, and they actually generate
Right.
what looks like a handwritten note. Send out cards,
Oh,
stuff
there are
like that.
so many now
Yeah.
that can do that. So don't rely just on digital. Let's
Sure.
rely more on those handwritten notes, those personalized things. And you don't have to be afraid of, it's going to cost too much money.
Buy in bulk.
Buy in bulk, if you sent 5 a week, if you just sent 1 a day, that's not going to break the bank to do that. And think of those people getting those messages on a consistent basis. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, you pay $800 a month for, supposedly 100 leads a month. What would you spend on cards and stamps?
Right.
Not anywhere near that.
Yeah. So I think it has to be in the mix. Blogs, I think, are really important. I think that, and I can hear you saying, I don't want to be a writer. I don't want to sit down. I don't know what to write about. Well,
That's why we have you.
Exactly. That's why you have me. And so you don't need to do that. The blogs that I do for my clients, we take a set of themes. I talk with my client. What kind of themes do you want to talk about? They'll tell me this is what they're into. This is their charity. They love dogs. They love family. They love food. So we hone in on the things, and then my team writes blogs and posts them for my clients once a week. You wouldn't believe the traffic that brings you. Plus, if you've got a website and it's set up for a blog, it's great for SEO because it keeps fresh content every week on the website.
Great exposure.
Yep, great exposure. So blogs are a way to really up the game in your exposure online. What a lot of agents do that works very well is they write about community activities. So let's say that in your neighborhood, Starwood, in Frisco, whatever, if you were to start a Starwood blog, and you can target emails in that particular area and have it on your website so that you're driving traffic to your website from social, and they can see those things about the community. Maybe you're having a dog ID tagging party this Saturday, or you're having, some kind of thing to do with the end of summer or back to school. So writing about what's happening in your community sets you up as that realtor who kind of owns the community.
Right.
It really works on a lot of different levels.
I don't want folks to think I live in Starwood. We're not quite there yet.
No.
Maybe that's the next house.
He's working on it. And then, of course, tied into all of this is content.
Mm-hmm.
The content on your social media, the content on your website. All of that as a whole helps to increase overall traffic. You want a great website. You want traffic to go to that hub and get familiar with the listings, with what you offer there. And that's how you develop relationships that then turn into social leads, because that's really what we're after. That's what we're talking about here, right?
And just make sure you're consistent with your theme.
Absolutely consistent. So social media to increase traffic and awareness, and then we've talked about print marketing and the importance in geographic farming. So if you've got a little extra money and you'd like to allocate in your strategic plan that we're going to spend X number of $100 a month farming Starwood or farming your neighborhood, I've always found it interesting as a homeowner in the different neighborhoods I've lived in throughout my career, how few postcards I get from realtors on a consistent basis.
We've gotten away from it.
We have.
Again, we've gotten so heavily on the digital and online and so far away from.
Yeah, I think it works.
It does work.
You
Like
know,
I
when
said, mean,
if I go to to my post box and I pull out a really nice, good-looking postcard. Now, I'm not talking about a just listed, just sold, or I'm the wonderful king of real estate card. I'm talking about something that's about the community.
data, even if it's comparables, you're being
Yeah.
educated on what's sold and what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, absolutely. Did you ever come to my roundtable classes that I had back in like 2005?
That was so long ago.
Yeah, I know, it was so long time ago. My God, just
That was
think
the
about how
first-
long ago that was.
That was the first year I got to the big D. So
Yeah. Well, back then, I taught a class for prime lending, actually, and we invited realtors from all over the Metroplex to come. It's called the Roundtable, and in that we would brainstorm ideas for what we were going to do for marketing for the following month. So they were always prepared for the next month, and we would get ideas from that, and then I would provide the marketing for them. And one of the things that really worked for my realtors that were in that class was seasonal postcards. So like in October, in September, we would be putting together ideas on the fair and postcards that talked about what the lineups were, or what the fried foods were going to be for that year, who was entering what, and who was going to be playing on the main stage and things like that. So these were things that the realtors used to just get a pop on their farm area rather than always talking about real estate,
Right.
because we're not always ready to buy a house, Troy.
Right.
You know, so you need to have something. I always used to call it refrigerator mail. So it's going to land on my refrigerator because it's going to have something in it that gives me information that I can utilize for my family.
Well,
I think that's important.
And that goes back to what we opened up the show with. Again, you can't just do it for a month or two. You got to consistently.
Right.
You got to consistently do it.
Absolutely. A few more specific marketing ideas, Facebook and Instagram ads. We've talked a little bit about that, but
Yep.
outside of what your broker's doing, I know that we've ran ads that went on Facebook and Instagram of a new listing of a special event that you had coming up. I've had realtors who were selling 1 million plus homes that prepared their open house a month in advance. And so we ran an ad on that to try to drive traffic to a very important property that they were trying to sell. So Facebook and Instagram ads still work. You can actually, if you can allocate $50
You
a
got to start
month,
somewhere.
yeah, start there. I mean, that's super easy. Hosting local events. By that I mean, why not have a paper drive in your neighborhood? Why not have a dog tagging party in your neighborhood?
Yeah,
or
we saw a lot of food drives right when COVID
food
hit.
drives.
So
Yeah, so there are things you can do. Only you know that. I mean, if you are an experienced realtor and you've focused in on a neighborhood, don't forget the importance of staying active with community events and staying in front of those people in that neighborhood. I think that's
next
huge.
door, I mean, get involved. Help. I mean, again,
Absolutely.
when they're reaching out saying, "Hey, I need an electrician," or "Hey, I need this,"
Yep.
get involved. You look like a hero because you already have, all those guys and gals, in your arsenal for your past clients. Why not share those with your neighbors?
Absolutely. And those people who love charitable work and have a heart for giving and the time for doing those kinds of things, I think that you should bring that into the mix of your real estate marketing. Let people know your charity. Be involved in your charity, and then tell people you're involved with your charity. You don't have to be telling how much money you're giving and things like that. What I mean is just be visible so that the people that you're wanting to attract can see this person's like me. They like to work with children that have a handicap or things like that.
And I actually talked about this with my roofer yesterday. So when the hurricane hit Rockport,
Right.
I did a big rally on social media where I asked clients to bring in, dry goods and bottled water and clothes. And, I went to Home Depot and, got power tools and bought a 75-gallon auxiliary fuel tank and literally went to Rockport. And now with what's going on in East Texas and South Texas, we talked about this last night, let's let it pass, and we might be making a run here in the next 3 or 4 days.
I think that'd be great,
So,
Troy. That's awesome.
Stay tuned for that.
I mean, that shows that you care.
Again, I don't have a problem with, Salvation Army or Goodwill. I'm the type of person, I want to see where it's going. Stroking a check, anybody can do that. I'd rather get involved. And if it means loading up and driving and unloading and helping. I mean, literally, I went there with that auxiliary fuel tank full. And I mean, I was giving complete strangers 5 and 10 gallons worth of gas. You would have thought that I brought them gold, because back then when that hurricane hit,
And at the
and there
time,
was
that was
no
gold.
fuel, it was gold. There was no
Wow.
fuel in South Texas. I gave almost too much, that I was worried that I wasn't going to get back home, because I was going to get, you know, too far north and I was going to run out of gas. So I wanted to save a little bit in that transfer tank. So that's the kind of stuff that, again,
Oh, and that's the kind of stuff that breeds relationships with people. You meet somebody, right? You make a relationship with them, and you stay in touch with them. You stay on top of them, and then before you know it, they're coming to you
well,
and asking a real estate question.
and it's, what is it, 15 years ago, almost to the day,
Yeah.
that Katrina hit. And the people that I have from there say, you can't fathom the damage. TV can't do it justice. But if you are at ground zero, it blows your mind. And I witnessed that in Rockport. Rockport didn't get the water that Houston got. They got hit with the wind. And we've got 145 mile an hour winds down there right now as we're doing this. I guess I can't imagine that.
Yeah, no, I can't either. So being in tune with the community.
It's just a bigger community. It's just not in your backyard. It's
Not in your
6, 7
backyard.
hours
That's
away.
right.
But you know
I
what?
think it tells the kind of person that you are, and this is what people want to know. They want to, I mean, we've talked about this so much on our shows, how it's about that connection. It's about having that chemistry with someone in a listing appointment or in a networking group that really, they trust you. They feel like they know who you are, that you're a good enough person that they could entrust this dream into your hands. And I think that that is what all this kind of stuff we're talking about in philanthropy, being able to be a helper and be known for that.
Yeah, and I'm
is
not,
important.
and I'm not the only one that's going to do it. I mean, there could be a huge, rally at the brokerage
For
firm
sure.
to, load a semi,
Yeah.
like challenge us to load a semi and have it delivered to, to the Gulf Coast. So, like I
Absolutely.
said, more to come on that. So,
Heavy thoughts, man. Heavy thoughts. Another thing, video campaigns. Right now, video is the bomb. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's thinking they need to, and you do. But you don't have to do it like this. Not everybody has to come in and do a serious type show with notes and content and information.
and makeup.
In makeup. You could actually, if you're a realtor, focus on like a video that walks through communities. You would never even have to show your face if you don't want to, but maybe there's a new community, like what's the new community out, Legacy West? Or
Yeah,
there's,
Legacy West, where the Britain built their villas. There's no shortage of new home subdivisions in Prosper and Salina and McKinney and Melissa. I'm doing one next Tuesday with a builder, in Mustang Lakes. They asked me, hey, would you come out and shoot video and showcase, our listings? Absolutely, I would love the
that's
opportunity.
fantastic.
It's not costing anybody any money.
Right.
We're just using our
Use your phone.
Yeah, we're using our phone, and our stick, whatever that thing is called. And I mean, I'm going to have somebody holding it,
Yeah.
but I mean, we're doing that. And like I said, the builder benefits, I benefit, Mustang Lakes will benefit from that. So
Yeah. Now I want you to be consistent.
absolutely.
Okay, because the one-offs are fun and they'll get a splash, but they're not going to get you social leads. Being consistent, picking a theme, saying, okay, I'm going to focus on new restaurants in my area, planning it out on your strategic plan calendar, once a month, once a week, once every 2 weeks. Put on your mask, throw your hair up, girls, in a ponytail. Nobody has to see your face. And get out and use your personality and shoot those things that are of interest for the community. People eat that up. And they really eat up if you do show your face.
Well, and-
People love to see you, they want to see you, they want to get your personality, they want to see what you're wearing. So, you can get bold with it as you like, or you can step back and get behind the camera if you like, but video campaigns work.
And we're in the middle of viral marketing database reset. You can go to their website. It's a great tool. It's 2 videos a month. And again, like she said, mix it up, break it up. It doesn't have to be the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a new build. It can be, just the amenity center. So viral marketing database reset, great plan for video.
Absolutely it is. So I think what we're saying here is you got to be everywhere.
You do.
You got to be everywhere. You got to be online. You got to be easy to find. Lead gen can make or break a business. So what
In a hurry, it can.
are you doing to generate leads? What are you doing to build business into your pipeline. Is that, am I saying it like a real realtor would say it? Talk about the pipeline for a minute, Troy, because I know that you're always talking to me about that.
Yeah, in corporate America in sales, it's always the 1st through the 30th, and the sales experts or the coaches will teach you got to think the 15th through the 15th. So, here we're early in September.
Right.
You got to start thinking about what is in the pipeline for the rest of the year. Again, unless you get this thing under contract right before Thanksgiving, it may not be closing in 2020.
Wow.
So you got to be thinking not just about tomorrow, but you got to be thinking further out with your pipeline.
I want to talk about that for a second because I'm just getting a thought that how challenging that has to be in real estate, because this is not a instant gratification thing.
No, I mean,
you can't just go and buy a house today. Like
Right.
I can go buy a piece of furniture and have it delivered in 3 days.
Yeah, not everybody you're working with is selling their house right now or buying
Yeah.
a house tomorrow. I mean, I have again, a CRM that, I've got the who and the what and the when, how much and where they're looking. We've got 50 or 60 portals set up. They're not all looking to buy, but look at their portal, email them, call them, text them, I don't care, reach out to them and just stay in front of them. Otherwise, they'll forget about you and find somebody else.
That's right, because it is a long game.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it is. And
It's
you know,
a
so
marathon,
you've got
not
to
a
keep
sprint.
leads in there.
Yeah.
Is what we're talking about, because it's not instant gratification. It's not going to happen overnight. So what I might be juggling today, I'll be juggling again in 6 weeks or 2 months.
Sure.
So building up that pipeline is just getting more balls in there, kind of like a bingo thing. You got to get all these balls hopping around in there. Making your plan to engage with your prospecting, adjust when you can.
Adjust on the fly. Yeah.
Adjust on the fly. It's not going to be forever always the same, because the markets change, people change, needs change. Okay, so let's look at this really quick as we're closing. Before we go into our takeaways, I want to just reiterate the top marketing ideas on social media for real estate agents would be Facebook and Instagram ads, blogging, great content, websites, community pages, and then not social media, but other marketing type things, staying in front of your SOI with pop-bys, handwritten notes, postcards that have great information. Remember, you want to get it on their refrigerator. Print marketing, geographic marketing, all these things, hosting local events, starting a video campaign, all of this stuff, the things that Troy talked about earlier in the gin world, the gin company world, prospecting, phone calls, all of these things create your lead program. So picking and choosing and finding out which one's going to work for you, working it hard, adjusting when necessary, is what's going to bring success. So with that, Troy, give us what your 3 takeaways would be.
Yeah.
To our realtors today.
I mean, we're in September. We're going to be in the 4th quarter. In a month, you've got to start thinking about the 2021 business plan already. I know that's hard to believe, but
it is.
And then, school is reopened. It started. Don't let that slow you down. Again, I don't have children. I don't have to homeschool them. But again, like you said at the top of the show, people are still doing business. They're buying and selling houses.
Right.
We might just have to work, a few more hours in the morning or the evening to make sure we can keep our volume of business where we want. And if you know of anybody looking to make a career out of real estate, have them reach out.
Absolutely.
So.
Create a lead gen strategy that you can afford. Remember time, budget, and imagination. If you don't have the time to perform the duties it require, if you don't have the money to afford it and you don't get it, don't do it. So choose a lead program that you can wrap all those things around and you can sustain it, because you don't want to just do it for a month. You're going to need to plan for the long haul, like we've said. Cultivate leads. It takes time, so be patient. People that are coming in online leads, they're 18 months out. Is that still true? Yeah, they're not looking to buy a house today.
You definitely have to incubate that.
Yeah, so you have to incubate. You have to nurture those leads. So find a system that you can nurture and incubate the leads until they are ready to buy a house. I mean, that's a given. How to do all that is another show.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of working parts on that, but definitely cultivate your leads. And then finally, challenge yourself to get outside your comfort zone. You know, get in a networking group and listen to what others are doing. Find out what's working for you, and if you're not happy or you're not excited about what's going on in your prospecting, then go do something different. Get outside the box in all these things. Do the videos and get involved in the community. This is what I mean by challenging yourself to do things that you haven't done before, and I guarantee it will bring more leads. Yeah. We're really excited. I want to share with you. I talked to Mark Miller.
Okay.
And Mark Miller is a dear friend of mine. We've worked together here in Dallas in the real estate industry for, I don't want to tell you how long, but a long time. And he is now president of Secure Title of Texas. And we have asked Mark to join us on our show next month. And he's going to be with us to brainstorm where the Texas real estate, North Texas market is going, and give us his expertise on that. And we'll just find out everything that he's doing and what the state of the title business is and real estate business is. So I hope you'll join us. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next time. Ciao.